Yeah, now we got some light. All right, it's way better here with some light. I got a little bit of a line going through here with this light, but we're going to do what we can do. That's what we do. So here I said I would do this every day. Every day. All right, so it's December 30th. It's 9:30. Just came home from dinner with my wife and one of my kids and their boyfriend, and now I have a few minutes to talk about what I want to talk about. There goes a kid. You saw her, just like that. All right. So, if you are a sales leader or a sales manager or someone that has a relationship with people where you are responsible for coaching them, then one of the things that you need to be careful of is a lot of times as the coach, you might be able to see something on that person and you want to have a conversation about, let's say, they're not doing enough prospecting. So that's one thing that you could do. You could say, I want to talk about this. I want to cover this with you. But what that means is that this really, the coaching that you're giving that person is not for them, it's for you. You're trying to get a better result from that person, but you're doing it the wrong way because you're doing it for what you want and not what that person wants. And they're not a participant of this if you don't do it in a different way. So, what I want to say here is that when you start a conversation as a coach, one of the first things that you should do is just ask the question, what has your attention? It's a great question. Now, maybe that person's not doing the prospecting because they've lost their confidence, or maybe they have a sick child at home and they're worried about it and they've lost their focus because of that. Uh, that would be a different reason, and that would be something that you wouldn't know unless you ask that question. What has your attention right now? And if they say, I'm really worried about my child or whatever it is, then great. This is not the kind of conversation now you want to go back to and say, yeah, but you need to do your prospecting. You're going to need to have some empathy, and you're going to have to understand where they are. So I think that that is a mistake that people make, is that they think because I want them to do this and I want that behavioral change. And look, the behavioral change will help people get a better result. There's no doubt about that. I know that that's true, but how we get there matters. It's the same as what we do in selling. Like, it's how we get there. It's not like I'm just going to come in and pitch you and tell you you need to do this thing. We're going to have some dialogue and we're going to have some conversation, and we're going to try to figure things out together. That is what you also need to do as a coach. And if you have a coach, you might say, would it be okay if I told you what I wanted to focus on today and why? And that can probably put you in a good position to have a better conversation than you would otherwise. Okay, the second thing that I need to talk about when we talk about this idea of coaching, if you are a coach, it's not your job to solve your client or your salesperson's problems. That's not what you're there for. You're there to be a sounding board. You're there to ask questions. You're there to help them see something that they can't see by asking them questions that will cause them to start to notice what you're saying to them, and maybe getting some sort of a strategy that they come to from their own thinking about what you're talking about. That is a much better way to do this too. So I will tell you, a lot of times you already, if you're the coach, you already know what the answer is. You know what they need to do. You know how to help them get that behavioral change that is going to help them improve their results in the future. But that's not the right way to do it. The right way to do it is to hand this over to the person that you're coaching and then let them think about, what could you do if you wanted to improve that particular result. And now it's their responsibility to start thinking about that. That doesn't mean that you are not going to give them any more help. It means that you don't need any more dependence. You need people who are being coached so that they will do the work themselves to think through, what do I need to do to be successful here? What have I tried? What have I not tried? Why didn't it work? Has other people made it work in the past and you've noticed that they've been able to do that, but it's not working for you? All of these things are a better way to think about being a coach. And I worry about this because most of the time, as a sales manager, as a sales leader, you already know the answer. You already know what they want them to do. And they're not going to do that just because you tell them to do this. You need to engage with them and find out what's got their attention right now. And then if it's a real serious issue, so if they don't do something soon, they may lose their job or they may not make the money that they need for their family. Now, in that case, you may have to say, would it be okay? I'm asking for permission. Would it be okay if I brought your attention to something that I notice that's going to cause you to have a problem now and maybe a problem in the future? Would it be okay if instead of whatever you had on your mind, would it be okay if we tackled this first? I'm asking for permission because I want them to have their autonomy. I want them to know that they're responsible for producing the results and developing themselves. And if you ask for permission when you do that, then you can always go back and reset that relationship. So I don't want you to just tell people what to do. I want you to have the conversation. And the way that I think Winston Churchill said this is something about diplomacy is telling somebody to go to hell and have them looking forward to it. And so that's the way you might think about this. It's a different kind of conversation. It's just not telling, it's just not making them do something. It's having the conversation so that they can understand the importance, so they can start to figure out how to do this, that they can understand the strategies, and all of those things will help them get better results. All right, it is December 30th, 9:39 p.m. That's late for me. It's probably early for the rest of you, but I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So here we go. I'll see you. We'll have one more day and then it'll be a new year. I'll see you tomorrow. Done.